Rob Gale, men's under-20 national team head coach, and here at the Soccer Summit to present to the high performance coaches with the OPDL, the learning facilitators, a women's mentorship program, and then a practical session tomorrow. We talked a little bit about this with the coaches, both with the High Performance League and the learning facilitators, and I think it comes down to your standards and trying to instill that as an earlier age as possible once they start getting into competitive streams. So I think it's important that we try and have a winning mentality. And it's not the win-at-all-cost mentality, because that can be a detriment to development, but that competitive edge. So it starts with your standards and your coaching and your practices and everything else, and the demand on the player to try and make that part of their identity. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and it's vital for people to understand that. The game is always going to be competitive, and the kids will know the score at the youngest ages anyway. But what you're trying to do is take that ego out of it, and the coach-driven, where everything is standards and kind of trophies and medal-driven, and that's not what development is about. So at those younger ages, it's very much player development, and focusing on the player rather than the team. Now, as that progresses and gets collective, obviously you start coming into your high performance leagues, then there will be scores and standings. But again, winning should not be the priority of any youth coach. It has to be the byproduct rather than the end product of what we're trying to do. And what needs to happen is a player-centered approach to the development of the game. And that's where you affect the mentality of a player, to have an edge and a desire to win and that ability to compete. And it's not just winning a game of soccer, it's winning to get to that next level. I want to make the provincial team. I want to get selected into a national youth camp. I want to get selected by a professional club. That's the mentality we're looking for in a player, not to be content at any level of the game, but to continue to push yourself and challenge yourself. Different components, obviously, but it's all driven by the game and the modern game. And I think as a coach, you have to let the game be the teacher to you and learn from it. And what is the game teaching us? Where is the game going? And how can we then take that and train that to improve the players for the future game? So hopefully what they will have seen, with the materials and also the on-field practices, is everything is towards an end purpose. It's not in isolation, like we talk about curriculums, but you can find curriculum anywhere. It's the purpose behind it and how it transfers. Is there game transfer? Can you affect a player's ability and develop them to the best of their potential? So hopefully they'll see that it's all driven towards the end product. And, it is a pathway, as you have clearly defined in Ontario and now across the country. It's through organisations and events like this that you guys are running, and that's absolutely vital to come and share information, share knowledge, bring like-minded coaches together, because we are little parts of a very big game in a big country. So I think that the message sharing has to be done through these workshops, summits, coaching symposiums, coach licensing, and any chance we can get together and work through the partners. And fortunately, Ontario leads that department where they really get out to the numbers. So it's great for us to be able to hear and work in collaboration. So number one, first and foremost, is we have identified for that 8 to 12 the preferred training model. And it's an approach that can really reach a great number of players in a small space of time, and affect a lot of players with stretching the resources of your club or your organisation. You don't always need the head coach to be working with every team and every age group in every compartment of the session. It's just impossible to demand that, and you've got to maximise your resources and your volunteers. So hopefully they'll see through the preferred training model with the 4 station approach. You've got the general movement, the soccer movement, and that can be done by parents who maybe have some idea of physical literacy, or there could be a phys ed teacher or someone in your club, not necessarily with the soccer background, that can run that components for you. just as on a national team camp, you know, we have specialists within each area. That's what you want to maximise in your club. The same for the technique, and then the tactical side is where you need your coach, and you're working within the small game and letting that be the teacher. So hopefully they'll not only see the benefits of the preferred training model, but we'll give them some practical examples and some defending takeaways within that. I think one of the most important things is what is pressure? Pressing the ball and actually trying to actively and aggressively win the ball back. The reason you defend is to get possession of the ball to attack. So that's something we work with in a defender through all ages. I think the art of defending almost gets lost, and lots of young players especially will believe that they're actually trying to press and win the ball back, but really they're just closing down, going to meet the player. There's no actual desire to win the ball back. So we're going to work in the kind of foot skills, break down the biomechanics of that and how you can teach it at the younger ages and get that mentality. Again, we go back to mentality of actually trying to win the ball and not just stop the forward progression.